nice, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, stop and stretch. And then join in again when you're ready to do so. Usual props, so the band or strap, anything that you can use to support mainly the legs. And then the ball, if you've got it, or the pillow for resistance or a little bit of assistance. If you're seated, trying to find that position that allows a little bit more space at the front of the body. So I'm not collapsing at the front, compressing, and then keeping pressure into the belly, preventing the diaphragm, your big breathing muscle inside of the rib cage, from moving. So see if I can give myself a little bit more space to allow the diaphragm to work properly. If you're laying down, just allowing the mat to take your weight, the head is resting on it, the arms relaxing down the side, palms turn to face up to the ceiling, the legs are straight or bent, whatever feels more comfortable for your hips and back. And then focusing on the breath, as usual. See if we can guide the breath, taking it down into a nice relaxing diaphragmatic breath. So taking it down into the belly. So making sure that it's not up here into the chest. I'm trying to soften through the front of the chest, to relax it through the neck, the shoulders, and then sending the breath right down into the abdomen, into the belly. So feeling the belly raising with the inhalation and then falling, relaxing with the exhalation. Not because you're trying to push it out, but because the breath is doing that for you. So I'm not forcing anything, noticing if there is tension into the shoulders, any tension around the jaw or the face, to see if I can soften everything out, just making sure that I'm not clenching, I'm not tightening, I'm not stiffening up. And then as you keep that nice, relaxed, the breath flowing, just noticing the body, so noticing how you feel today, what's the pressure like. If I'm seated, what's the pressure between the right and the left seat bone? If I'm laying down, what's the pressure between the right and the left side of the body? What's the position of my legs, the position of my arms and my head? Am I slightly turned? Am I slightly leaning? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. And then as you start to feeling a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed with the breath and within the body, we're just going to start working into the neck. I'm going to start off with a little rotation. So I'm going to turn to look over one shoulder, ease my way back to the center, and then I'm going to turn to look the other way. So starting with a little movement, just getting the neck going, and then gradually see if I can maybe turn a little bit deeper. But making sure that I'm not forcing, so there is no pain into the neck, and there is no tension into the neck. Comparing right with left side. I feel when I turn one way, feels easier. When I go the other, feels a bit stiffer, a little bit more restricted. I can see with the corner of my eye that my shoulder is moving back with me. I'm going to try and keep the shoulders still and just move the head. If you're lying down, just noticing how the neck feels as you're turning the head from side to side. The ribcage is staying quiet, the shoulder girdle is staying relaxed. 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to the center, bringing the head back to the middle. And then from rotation, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So this time, keeping the back of the head on the mat if you're lying down. I'm just going to move the head so that my right ear comes down towards my right shoulder. Then come back to the center, and then left ear to the left shoulder, and then back to the center. So just a little movement side to side. Again, noticing how the neck is moving. I feel that when I go to the left, my neck feels a bit pinchy. So I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to keep the movement a little bit smaller. And then see if I can relax a little bit more gradually. Making sure that there is no pain shooting down the arms. There's no referred pain, tingling into the fingers as the head is going. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then easing back to the center, resetting the shoulders, resetting the head, and then I'm going to change the direction of the movement one more time. I'm going to go into a little flexion extension. Whether you're seated or on the mat, imagine if you're seated, the back of the head to be on the wall. I'm going to tuck the chin into the throat as if I was giving myself a double chin. So trying to lengthen the back of the neck. And then I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to pull the chin forward. I'm going to bring it up and then see if I can lengthen down the front of the throat. Then I'm going to ease back. I'm going to tuck the chin in. And then I'm going to lift up. So think of a little flexion as the neck is lengthening and opening up, and just a little extension. Making sure that that's not creating pressure into the back of the neck. So again, it's not pinching, it's not causing pain. If I'm on the mat, I'm just going to follow the mat. As I tuck the chin in, imagine to be pressing the back of the neck flat against the floor. And then as you lift up, if you go looking up and behind somewhere. 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, resetting the head back to the middle. There's a little bit more movement into the neck. I'm going to move down into the thoracic spine, into the upper back. I'm going to start off with a little flexion extension. So exactly the same as you did for the neck now. I'm going to do it for the upper back. If I'm laying down, I'm just going to push the breastbone up towards the ceiling. See if I can imagine the back of the ribcage that lift away from the mat. And then I'm going to push the breastbone into the back of the mat, using the hands at the back of the head. If I want, I can curl my head and my shoulders off the mat too. Then I'm going to release. I'm going to go up into extension and then forward into flexion. If I'm seated, exactly the same as you were doing for the neck. I'm going to try and push the breastbone forward. So I'm going to try and extend and lift through the front of the chest. And then I'm going to try and round and fold. So I'm going to extend and lift and then round and fold. So imagine it in turns to be opening and lifting the front of the chest. And then I'm going to open up and lift the back of the shoulders, the middle of the back. So see if I can try and mobilize through the thoracic spine. See if I can get some movement going. The same as we've been doing so far, making sure that the movement is not causing any pain. So noticing where you feel the tension. So as I go up, I feel there, got quite a lot of tension across the front of the chest. As I go back, I feel I've got quite a lot of tension between my shoulder blades, or maybe a little bit higher, a little bit lower down the back. See if I can almost like direct the intention. So I'm going to try and stretch and open where it feels tighter, where it feels more restricted. 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, releasing the shoulders, adjusting the rib cage. From flexion extension, I'm going to move into lateral flexion, same as I did for the neck. If you're lying down, you might want to support the head with one hand and reach with the other arm. I'm going to start flexing to the side. So with my right hand, I'm going to reach down the right side. I'm going to flex down that way, come back to center. With my left hand, I'm going to reach down the other way. as if I was trying to pick something from the floor right down the side of the chair, and then pull it back up. Right down the other side, and then pull it back up. If I'm lying down, I'll be kind of like sliding, rubbing against the mat. So one hand supports the head. I'm going to flex, reach down the right side, come back to center, hand goes back to the head, and then flex, reach down the other way. Come back to center, reach down one side, back to center, and then over to the other. Center, and then side. So maintaining that movement again, see if I can feel a little tension down the side of the belly, the obliques muscles working to allow the body to move side to side. So a little bit more movement into the thoracic spine, so a little bit more movement, so a little bit movement into the lumbar as well. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Releasing the shoulders, again adjusting the rib cage, adjusting the arms, and then from lateral flexion, I'm going to move into rotation. I'm going to try and rotate through all of the torso. So raising the arms in front of you, clasping the hands together or keeping the hands apart, whichever it's easier. I'm going to start to swing the arms over to the right and then to the left. So if I'm down on the back, I'm just going to roll from shoulder to shoulder, from shoulder to shoulder. If I'm seated, my hips are still as I'm sitting on them. So I'm just going to try and swing around as if I was trying to, I don't know, swing a bucket or kind of like throw a bag over the shoulder. So I'm going to rotate to one side, rotate to the other, rotate to one side, rotate to the other. So see if you can, again, focus on the thoracic spine. See if I can create a better movement, an easier movement. So getting rid of some of the tension, some of the stiffness. See if I can move a little bit better, a little bit bigger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Releasing the shoulders, releasing the back. It's a little bit more movement into the upper back. I'm going to focus on the lower back. I'm going to start off with a little flexion extension, same as you did for the neck and for the upper back. I'm going to go into a little pelvic tilt. So think of the lumbar curve. I'm going to try and reverse it. So I'm going to tuck the tailbone under, scoop the belly in. I'm going to tighten up through the core, through the belly, and then I'm going to try and round into the lower back. Then I'm going to release. I'm going to come forward, bring the lower back, lumbar back into neutral, and then I'm going to tuck again, and then back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt and release the tilt. So see if you can, this time, guide the movement down into the lower back. So my upper back is not moving, it's not taking part, it's just the lower back. So see if I can try and ease off some of the stiffness, some of the tension from down there. If you're on the mat, even better, same as for the neck, you've got the mat to guide the movement. As I tilt the pelvis back, I'm aiming for my lower back to flatten against the floor. And then as I go forward, I'm going to come back into neutral so I can feel the curve lifting away again. So I'm going to try and flatten it, and then I'm going to round it. Flatten it, and then round it. And then as you keep the tilt going, see if you can switch the focus. So I'm going to focus on my corset, so my core, the front of the belly, tightening up the corset. And then once that I feel that I've got that tension set, so I can feel that corset to tightening, closing around the middle to give me that support to encourage that movement. See if you can change the focus. So instead of working through the center for focusing on the belly, see if you can focus on your pelvic floor. So front passage, men and women, no difference. Imagine to be lifting everything up towards the inside of the body. So as I tilt the pelvis, I'm going to try and draw everything up, everything in, and then I'm just going to let everything relax. So I'm going to draw up and then let it relax. Draw up and then let it relax. Making sure that is the tension, it's coming from your pelvic floor muscles, not from your bum. So I'm not squeezing my bum cheeks together to create that lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, adjusting the hips, so releasing through the back. And then from flexion extension, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So I'm going to go into a hip hitch. So if I'm lying down, I'm just going to keep the back of my hips are flat against the mat and then hitching the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, feeling the right side of the belly tensing to create that hitch. And then I'm going to try the same thing the other way. So hitching right, hitching left. So this time I can feel the pelvis is just gently swinging, just gently rocking from side to side. If you're seated, same as usual, imagine to be taking the weight of the seat bone. So I'm going to try and pull up on my right seat bone, ease back down, pull up on my left seat bone and ease back down. So feeling the side of the belly tensing to create that little lift, then I'm going to drop, little lift, and then drop. Using the arms to help you stabilize that lift. So resting the hands onto the chair if you need to, or just trying to focus on the belly. See if I can create a little lift from side to side, as if your seat bones were kind of like walking up and down the chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, easing the hips back to the middle, relaxing the hips, so releasing the pelvis. And then I'm going to try and get into rotation. As usual, if you're seated, obviously you're sitting on your hips, so it's very hard to move them. So I'm still going to be moving from the torso. I'm going to walk the feet and the knees nice and close together. I'm going to reach my right hand across to the left leg, and then I'm going to pull the legs to the right and then turn the body to the left. Then easing back, then the other way, pull the legs to the left, turn the body to the right. If you're lying down, your hips are kind of like they've got some freedom to move. So I'm just going to keep the knees nice and close, allow the arms to open out to the side. And then I'm just going to start rolling the hips from side to center, from side to center. The shoulders are staying down, the neck and the arms are relaxed. So see if you can think of the pelvis turning, taking the legs, turning back, and then turning to the other side. Just a nice, easy rotation. Same as we've been doing so far, making sure that the movement is not causing pain. And then the more you move, the more you should start noticing the difference within the movement. So it should become a little bit easier. I might even be able to turn, rotate further away, but I'm not forcing anything. If the body wants to go, it'll go. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, adjusting the hips, adjusting the shoulders. So it's a little bit more movement through the all of the spine. I'm going to focus on the hip joint and the shoulder joint. So I'm going to start off with a little flexion extension on the arm. The same as I did for the back. I'm going to start raising the right arm up to the front. I'm going to take it as far as it feels comfortable for the shoulder. I'm going to take that arm down and then I'm going to pick up the left. Is that left and then picking up the right. So it could be a very short movement. It could be a very big movement. Whether it's small or big, it doesn't matter. Just see if you can be aware of these areas. So your neck, your jaw and your shoulders. As the arm moves, I want my neck to stay soft and my shoulder to stay relaxed. So I don't want to find myself tensing and stiffening and gripping with the neck. So I want it loose, I want it smooth. Especially if I'm standing, as the arm will start becoming very heavy very quickly. So the range of movement will start feeling harder and then it's more chances that the neck is going to start tensing to help me out. So I'm just going to make the movement smaller, just making sure that the neck is staying relaxed. If I'm lying down, I'm working with gravity, so it should be feeling a little bit easier to let go of the neck and relax into the shoulder as the arm is moving. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting through the arms. I'm going to give the shoulder a little bit of a rest and then I'm going to work on the hip. What I want is same, flexion, extension into the hip joint. So if I'm lying down, I'm aiming for the right foot to pull away from the ground, the right leg to come up and towards me, and then to drop back down onto the mat. Same as usual, if I feel that the leg is a little bit temperamental, then I'm going to use the strap behind the leg so that I can encourage the movement into the hip joint, using my arms to guide the leg. If I'm seated, exactly the same thing. So I want to encourage the little flexion and then returning, flexion and returning. See if I can be aware of the movement in the hip joint so I can feel the thigh bone moving into the hip socket. It's not the all of the body that is swinging with me, it's just the leg. 5. And then same for the arms, that the legs will get progressively feel heavier as I start fatiguing. So if I need a rest, I'm just going to have a little rest and then start again when I'm ready to do so. 3, 2, 1, and relax. So relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing with the other side. So if I need the band, I'm going to place the band around the back of the leg. If I'm seated, I can even use my hands as whatever it's easier. And then I'm just going to start coming up and down with that left leg. So feeling that leg, picturing the leg moving into the hip socket, the pelvis is stable, the belly still connected, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, nice and relaxed, making sure that I'm not clenching my teeth, I'm not bracing and tightening through the upper body. I'm trying to stay as loose as possible at the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the legs. There's a little bit more movement into the hip joint. I'm going to go back into the shoulder. I'm going to go for a lateral raise this time. So instead of taking the arm up at the front, I'm going to swing it around the side, bring it towards the head, and then I'm going to swing it back down. So as if I was trying to wave the arm and then come back. And then same as you did for the front raise, I might find that as I start lifting this arm, my shoulder clicks. I'm going to try and play with the position of the arm. So what happens if I bring the arm slightly forward? What happens if I turn my hand up? What happens if I turn my hand down? Can I get rid of that clicking? Can I find a a smoother and easier movement that is going to allow the shoulder to move, but it's not giving me pain, it's not creating tension, it's not creating discomfort. And then since I'm moving one arm at a time, I might find it with my right, I can really wave it big. With my left, I have to wave it a little bit smaller. It doesn't matter, it's still moving. So I'm going to do what I can with my right and what I can with my left arm. Same if I'm laying down, I'm just going to allow the arm to pull slightly away from the mat. I'm going to turn my palm to face the ceiling. I'm trying to turn the palm away, slightly towards the head. See if I can find a better combination that's creating a smoother movement. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and breathing back, relaxing the shoulders again. It's a little rest for the shoulder joint, and then I'm going to go back into the hip. Same as for the leg, I'm going to go for a lateral movement. So this time, instead of lifting, I'm going to try and open. So I'm going to bring the feet a little bit further away from each other, so we go the hips with the butt. And then what I want is with my right knee is to try and open to the right, and then come back to the center. With my left knee, I want to open to the left, and then come back to the center. So see if you can think of that lateral movement at this time. If I'm seated again, leg is a bit stiff or the hip feels quite locked, I'm just going to use my hand to help me guide the leg in and out, whichever direction I feel that I need to guide it. If you're lying down, allow the weight of the leg to take you out to the side, making sure that there is no pinching in the hip, and then squeezing the leg back. Taking the other one, and then bringing it back. See if you can, again, maintaining the hips still, making sure that it's not all of the hips that are turning, it's just the leg moving into the hip socket. So it could be a very small movement, it could be a very big movement, it doesn't matter. Just to see if I can keep it stable, keep it stronger from the middle, from the center. 6. And then same as usual, every so often, see if you can bring your attention back to what's going on into the neck, into the face, into the shoulders. Am I gradually bracing with my upper body? Am I clenching my teeth? Am I stiffening up at the top? Can I try and let go of that tension? Can I try and exhale and then soften the jaw, soften the neck, soften the shoulders, just to keeping the tension down into the legs. 2. Last time. And releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. Again, a little bit more movement into the hip joint. I'm going to go back to the shoulder one more time, and then this time I'm going to combine the directions. So instead of fixing in one direction, so just up and down or side to side, see if I can go into a circle. So I'm just going to reach my right arm up to the front. And then imagine to have a pencils instead of fingers. So I'm going to start drawing a little circle in front of me. And then I'm just going to gradually spiral the circle out so that it progressively gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it gets as big as I feel comfortable, as I feel in control. So it could still stay quite small. Could get quite big. As far as my right shoulder is okay with the movement, my neck is able to stay relaxed. Again, it's just the arm going. 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to reverse the circle. So I'm going to go around the other way. 1, 2, 3, making it a little bit smaller, making it a little bit bigger, keeping it the same size. Again, it's whatever works for that shoulder, going in this direction. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the arm. I'm going to try the same thing with the left. So I'm going to reach the arm to the front, and then with my pencils, I'm going to start drawing circle that is going to gradually spiral out a little bit more and a little bit more until I feel that this is a good size for me. I'm just going to stick to this size, making it smaller or bigger, just depending on that shoulder, listening to that left shoulder and what the left shoulder allows me to do. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to reverse. I'm going to go around the other way. And then going around the other way, I feel that I can make the circle bigger, or I find that I need to reduce the size of the circle a little bit. I'm going to adjust it to what feels comfortable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. So there's a little bit more movement again into the shoulder joint. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the hip. So what I want to hip circles, or leg circles, not hip circles. I'm going to use the band again to give a little support behind the leg. If the hip still feels quite stiff or quite locked. And then imagine this time the pencil to be stuck to the kneecap, to the front of the knee. I'm just going to use that pencil to draw little circles in front of me. And then same as I did for the arm, I can make the circle bigger, I can keep it small. It doesn't matter, just picture the thigh bone turning gently into the hip socket. So mobilizing the hip joint, warming up the hip joint, creating a smoother, easier movement and not a gritty, grindy one. If you're lying down, again, you can use the support of the band, or if you feel that you can support the weight of the leg, I'm just going to keep the leg up on its own. Same as you did for the opening and closing, for the lifting and lowering. See if you can think of a nice solid base. So the pelvis and the back is not moving, it's just the leg moving into the hip socket. Like if your pelvis was like a ball, it's like a ball, and the leg is like a spoon. So I want to turn the spoon into the bowl. I don't want the ball to turn with the spoon. So I'm going to try and keep stable, using the center, using the core. I'm going to reverse the circles, going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the left side. So using the strap, using the band to help me support and guide the leg if I need to. I'm going to start with my circles. So starting small and then gradually see how big circle can I go for. The pelvis is stable. The leg is moving into the hip socket. So it feels like a soft movement, a warm movement. Trying to get rid of that stiffness of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing the circle, going the other way. And then same as you've been doing so far, every so often, see if you can bring the awareness to the shoulders, the neck, and the face. Am I clenching my teeth again? Am I bracing and tightening through the shoulders? Can I try and soften everything out? Can I try and relax? Or can I try and let go of that tension? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back. Relaxing the hips and releasing the legs. So hip joint is a little bit warmer as well. I'm going to see if I can start coordinating the upper and the lower body together. So imagine to have a strap that connects your right arm and your right leg, your left arm and your left leg. I'm going to try and puppet my legs. So I'm going to start bringing the right arm up, and then as the right arm goes up, I want my right leg to be pulled. Then I'm going to ease back. With the left arm, I'm going to pull the left leg, come back. With my right, I'm going to pull the right, and then back. It doesn't matter if the leg doesn't lift, it doesn't move. Just to see if you can find that connection. So I might just about be able to lift the heel of the foot off the ground and then ease it back down. Just to see if I can connect to that right side and then the left side together. Focusing on the front of the hip, attempting to create that little pull that allows me to lift the leg. And then the shoulder, working to get the arm to move up and down. If I'm laying down, exactly the same. With the right arm, I'm going to pull the right leg, come back, and then with the left arm, I'm going to pull the imaginary string on the left leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Having a little rest there. I'm going to try the same, but this time I'm going to change the strings. So imagine the strings to cross over. So my right hand is tied to my left leg, my left hand to my right leg. So as I pull the right arm, it's my left leg that comes up. As I pull my left arm, it's the right leg that comes up. So opposite sides moving together. And then notice the difference that sometimes one combination, for whatever reason, seems to be working better than the other. So I might find that my leg wasn't lifting before, and then it's now lifting. Or I might find that my leg was lifting before, and now I'm struggling to take it up. Just focus on that string. See if you can find a connection. Opposite arm and leg, easing back. Opposite arm and leg, easing back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing down, relaxing the hips, releasing the shoulders, releasing the upper body. And then I'm going to see if I can spiral around, create a little stretch, do a little bit of a breath work. I'm going to shuffle the feet and the knees nice and close together. If you're seated, see if you can cross your right foot over the left or your right leg over the left. If you can, it doesn't matter, just keep them side by side. If you're lying down, same. See if you can either cross the right foot over or cross the right leg over. Or I'm just going to keep them side by side. I'm going to reach my right hand and then I'm going to tuck it underneath the left armpit. And then with my left hand, I'm going to reach around the right shoulder. So I'm going to give myself a nice hug. I'm going to keep that nice hug. I'm going to take a deep breath in as I breathe out to see if you can relax through the shoulders. And then now that the shoulders are relaxed, I'm going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder. And then I'm going to turn the body the opposite way. I'm going to turn it to the left. I'm going to hold that position there. And then I'm going to breathe 6 times. I want 3 breaths through the mouth and then 3 through the nose. So I'm going to breathe in through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 breaths to the nose. 1, 2, 3. Now see if you can twist the body a little bit further to the left. The head turns a little bit more to the right. Imagine to be breathing through a straw. We're going to breathe 3 times to fully inflate the ribcage. So I'm going to breathe in 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to relax back out. So breathing in, 1, more, and then I'm going to exhale and relax a little bit more. 1 more time. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and let it go. See if I can rotate a little bit deeper. And then just hold in that rotation here. Focus on the spot, on the wall, somewhere around the side. See if I can keep looking at that spot. And then I'm just going to breathe 6 times. In through the nose and then out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to return all the way back to the middle. I'm going to send the head to look over that left shoulder. Rotate the body to the right. And then same as I did before, I'm going to breathe in 3 times. 3 through the mouth and then 3 through the nose. So 1, 2, 3, 3 through the nose. 1, 2, 3. See if you can twist a little bit deeper and then holding it there. Breathe in through your straw 3 times to fully inflate the lungs. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to exhale out. Again, in, more, and exhale out. 1 more time. In, 2, 3, and exhale out. Then find the spot on the wall, focus on the spot. Inhaling through the nose, and then let it fall out of the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release and back to the middle. Unfolding the arms, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, uncrossing the legs, relaxing the legs. Then if you're lying down, rolling over onto your side and slowly pushing yourself up into sitting. Making sure that you're seated comfortably. The back leaning against the wall, sofa. Keeping your hands to the back to Offer a little support. And then, same as we did at the beginning, see if you can think of creating space at the front of the body. So I'm going to take a deep breath in. Bringing the chest forward, I'm going to lift it up, I'm going to look forward, I'm going to look up, I'm going to look back, and then I'm going to release, letting the chin drop down to the chest and the shoulders come forward. I'm going to roll forward, roll down as far as I feel comfortable, and then coming back up again. Extending up, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And releasing, rolling forward, rolling down. Last time. Curling up. As much space, as much lift at the front as I can. And then releasing and coming back. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow. Keep yourself back like that.